A House Oversight Subcommittee held an emergency hearing this afternoon titled, "A Caravan of Illegal Immigrants, a Test of U.S. Borders." So why was that necessary? Well, why? Because there are new reports that MS-13 members are posing as minors traveling with the migrant caravan. Lovely. As if that weren't enough, this week in the Jacksonville, Florida area, a twice-deported illegal immigrant from El Salvador was charged with manslaughter over the 2016 death of the officer trying to track him down. Deputy Eric Oliver was a Navy veteran and described as a hero in his community. Now, he was 32 years old, and his daughter was 6 when he died. Joining me now is Republican Congressman Ron DeSantis, who chaired today's hearing. He's also running for governor of Florida. I endorsed you so long ago, it's not even funny. And let's talk about the caravan crime and our open border. Congressman, good to see you.
Hey, how are you?
Great. This was wild because we see reports of large numbers of people, forget the caravan, crossing the border altogether at one time. Right. Then they're just taken into custody. And then you're like, who are you? Who are you? And this one guy's like, well, I'm being recruited for MS-13 in Los Angeles. It's wild. It's another, we need this wall. Not funded in the omnibus, we need the wall.
And I think, you know, the consensus amongst most of the witnesses today was, one, Trump ordered the catch and release to be done, but yet they're still
That's what I'm saying. They're still doing it.
They're still doing it. And then the other thing is when you have the massive border surges, that really is a godsend to the drug cartels and the amount of fentanyl and all this junk that they've been able to bring into our country that has caused a lot of people to lose their lives. And so we've got to get this under control.
And what does it mean without a wall? I keep going back to the wall. It's not everything, but it's a big deterrent.
And walls do not have prosecutorial discretion. So if a bureaucrat doesn't want to enforce the law, if they want to do the old Obama policies, or if you have an administration like Obama where they basically just give up on enforcement, then you don't have your laws being enforced. But the wall's the wall. In the places where they have it, like San Diego, it works.
Now, I want to read this to people so they understand the numbers we're talking about again. Agents assigned to the Yuma station in Arizona came upon a large group of 61 illegal immigrants who crossed the border Monday afternoon, this is from Breitbart, near the San Luis port of entry in southern Arizona. The illegal border crossers consisted of a single Mexican national and 59 Guatemalans, and one Salvadoran who claimed to be an unaccompanied minor, according to the information that they received. Then they questioned them. It turned out, as I said, that one supposed unaccompanied minor was an adult who was an MS-13 recruit from the LA MS-13. Now, do you know when they come in, then what happens to them? Because we've gotten rid of a lot of the detention centers, didn't we, along the border? Right. So then what happens?
Well, it depends on what they say. I mean, you know, we have asylum laws that people know what to say to claim asylum. Now, in almost every instance, it's pretty obvious when they're coming from like Guatemala that they're not necessarily qualifying for it. I mean, asylum is like you're being persecuted because of race, religion,
right,
political opinion.
You can just say life in Guatemala is persecuted.
Right. I mean, those countries have problems, but that's not enough. But what happens is once they do that, they get a trial in like 2 years. Well, guess what? They get released into our country. They're usually not even going to show up for that. So what you're saying tonight
is, despite what the administration has said, catch and release is still happening.
It is still happening against the wishes of the elected president, and that's the problem. I mean, if you have a caravan coming, they should just be stopped at the border and turned away.
They should not be allowed to cross the border.
Exactly.
People watching the show now are like, why is this happening? And it is infuriating. They know they can do it. And by the way, the Yuma sector in Arizona is reporting that they're seeing a surge in larger groups. So now they're not doing the trickle through. They're doing large groups moving en masse across the border. And, you know, you use the word invasion. People say, oh, that's so mean. What else do you call this?
In the large groups, you have the human trafficking.
Oh,
you have the drug. I mean, it really is a boon for the cartels.
There's an ad that's being run about you that makes you look like, you know, a combination of, you know, of Dr. Jekyll, Frankenstein, and, you know, a terrorist. We'll just see it in the background. It's just oh, we can play it. Okay, let's watch it.
Defend the president. This is the same Ron DeSantis who voted to give. Ron DeSantis says he wants to help President Trump drain the swamp. But when a reporter asked DeSantis if President Trump was mentally stable, he refused to answer or defend the president. This is the same Ron DeSantis who voted to give food stamps to illegal immigrants, hardly part of the president's Make America Great Again agenda. Ron DeSantis, can we trust this swamp creature to lead Florida?
Hardly part of the president's plan. I do love the vote. Oh, it's so ridiculous. So that Adam Putnam did that ad?
Well, I think
one
his
of his
supporters. Yeah, it's the Florida swamp.
So this is like you have been one of the most stalwart supporters of this president on almost every issue that I can think of, which is why months ago I endorsed you. And how do people even get away with saying that? Like, so
well, actually, so they're running on radio. Some of the radio stations have had to take it down already because it's false. You know, when they say voting for food stamps, and then they cite a bill where I voted against the farm bill that had Obama's food stamp policies in there. So I voted against all the food stamps. Certainly wouldn't do it for people here illegally. So it's 100% false. Radio stations have taken it down. We're working with the TV stations. It's just absurd.
How does the race looking in Florida? I mean, Rick Scott was, he was a force in Florida. Now, Rick Scott's moving on to the next.
Well, the fact that they're running ads against me, dogs don't bark at parked cars, so I'm on the move. They see that. That rattles a lot of people. So I'd say we're doing what we need to be doing. All
right. Well, I want you to continue to educate the people on what's happening at the border, because I think Americans, when they hear that catch and release is still happening, are infuriated and shocked, and the president needs to step up and take the members of Congress who are allowing this to happen to task. Ron DeSantis, thank you so much.
Thank you.